What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Ravens Rundown. My name is Joey Peterson. I am your host, and we've got some developing trade rumors on Ravens tight end Mark Andrews that come from NFL insider Adam Schefter. Now, all of this revolves around the trade deadline for the National Football League, which is just 3 weeks away. November 4th, Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. That's when all trades have to be finalized. And now that we've got just 21 days until that happens, of course, these rumors, they're only going to ramp up. And it makes sense, in my opinion, for something to happen on a bye week. Because if you're going to trade away somebody, if you're going to trade for somebody new, you are going to want to do it when you have that. If they trade for somebody, you can give that guy time to kind of get antiquated to the Baltimore Ravens system. And as we know right now, the Ravens are on their bye week. They don't play for another, 12 days, giving a new guy ample time to get used to life in the Baltimore Ravens with this scheme, whether that's defensively or offensively. And when it comes to trading away Mark Andrews, there's a lot of people that used to not want to. Now we're into the season, and they really, really want to, and they're calling me, saying, we should make it happen. But 8 months ago, they were calling me an idiot when I was saying this. This is from January 21st. Hate to say it, but I would probably trade him. This was 2 days after your loss to the Buffalo Bills. I knew this was the smartest thing for the Baltimore Ravens to do, is move on from Mark Andrews. And right now, you're put in a position, Baltimore is, that you might be able to move on from him, but you're not going to get near what you would have back then, and you're not going to save near as much money as you could have if you just did it 8 months ago. Regardless, people are talking, rumors are flying, so we got to talk about it. Before that, though, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Our season-long sub-battle is just an absolute dogfight with Steelers Talk. 4,110 to 4,102, and I need you guys to help me get on top. Let's take the lead. Let's be number one. If you hate the Steelers, if you love the Ravens, 2 great reasons right there to hit that subscribe button. So all of these rumors come from the horse's mouth himself. Of course, I'm talking about the most connected guy in the National Football League, one Mr. Adam Schefter. He released an article talking about the trade deadline coming up, and he said over the past 6 years, in the month of October leading up to the trade deadline, the NFL has had 88 trades, an average of just under 15 a year. The list of trade candidates that executives and coaches believe could be available in the next few weeks features multiple high-profile players, including Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, Trey Hendrickson, Mark Andrews, Bradley Chubb, Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Breece Hall, Jordan and Riq Woolen. These players' respective teams haven't necessarily made them available via trade, but sources believe they eventually could be. Mark Andrews. You heard it, you saw it, and now it is official from Adam Schefter. Now, he said they're not officially on the block, but based on sources that he knows around the league, he believes that their teams, in this case the Baltimore Ravens, would be willing to at least answer phone calls if called about trading for Mark Andrews. And right now, it feels like it's only a matter of time that this is going to happen. It feels like when we wake up on November 5th, Mark Andrews will not be a Baltimore Raven anymore. And that's a shame because of all he's meant to Lamar Jackson, because of all he's meant to the Baltimore Ravens and this franchise. I mean, this dude leads so many statistical categories when it comes to catching the football. But at some point, you come to the end of your rope. Now, why it feels like a matter of time? Like, you don't need any more offensive weapons. I know it's crazy to say that for a team who scored 13 points in the last 2 games combined. But once Lamar Jackson comes back, I know the points will come with that. And they got offensive weapons. They need help on the defense, and they need it horrifically. If you look just at the edge rusher position, Odafe Owe, he's gone. Traded to Los Angeles. Davius Robinson, broken foot. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. Kyle Van Noy, he's only got 1 sack so far in 2025. Mike Green, 0 pressures in the last 2 games as a starter. David Ajabo, 2 tackles in all of this season. Baltimore needs edge rush help as soon as possible, and preferably before that Week 8 matchup against the Chicago Bears. And Mark Andrews, he could be currency for that. That could be the thing that gets some teams on the phone when maybe it wouldn't have before. If you're talking to somebody about trading away their edge rusher and you're just offering draft picks, They might not be very interested, but if you're offering up Mark Andrews, they might have their ears perk up a little bit. Because even with that really slow start of like 5 yards in 2 games, basically these stats are like the last 4 games he's played. 174 yards, 8.3 yards a catch, 2 touchdowns. He's kind of come back to being a pretty consistent option. And the thing for Baltimore, if they trade away Mark Andrews, you save $7.1 million. That's not bad, right? I'll take that any day of the week. It's not as much as it could have been if you traded him before the season. But at this point, I'm like, sweet, I'll take the 7.1. And if he is traded, that 7.1 added with what you already have combines to $21 million, which the Baltimore Ravens then could use that to pay somebody else that they trade for to bring in here. There's lots of things that could happen. Lots of things that still need to play out, but it's kind of starting to make sense. What do you think? Should the Ravens trade Mark Andrews? Give me a yes or give me a no in the comment section down below. Simple question, simple answer. You let me know right now. Coming up next, where could Mark Andrews go? That's the question that everyone's asking now. Who might trade for him? I'll tell you that in a couple seconds. Stick around. Before that, make sure you guys download the PrizePicks app. Use our code CLNS. And if you do that, you get $50 in lineups. All you got to do is play your first $5 lineup. You and I make decisions every single day. But on PrizePicks, being right could get you paid. Simple as that. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Follow other PrizePicks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more on Lamar Jackson's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns? Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on PrizePicks. Here was my PrizePicks lineup. For Monday Night Football, I had the less on Caleb Williams, 261.5 pass and rush yards. Had the less on Jaden Daniels, 42.5 rush yards. Had the less on Josh Allen, 30 pass attempts. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. The link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Disclaimer, okay? I know that the Ravens might not trade player for player because that's what we're going to be talking about the rest of this video, okay? We're talking about teams they could trade him to and get something in return. A very big and realistic possibility is that you trade away Mark Andrews for draft picks, and then you turn those draft picks into more capital to give somebody else to get an edge rusher. That seems like there's a pretty decent chance that happens. But if that's not the route they go, and if they go player for player with another team, here are 2 teams I think you need to keep an eye out for. Number 1, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That, in my opinion, is the first trade destination that I feel like maybe is the most likely. One of the biggest reasons for that is we know that Baker Mayfield and Mark Andrews have phenomenal chemistry and have a phenomenal connection because we saw it at Oklahoma for years and years. And I know that Baker Mayfield kind of is scratching and clawing for anybody to be a weapon for him right now because everybody that was and is hurt. Mike Evans, dealing with a hamstring injury. Emeka Egbuka, dealing with a hamstring injury. Chris Godwin, dealing with that fibula. Jalen McMillan, neck injury. Bucky Irvin, dealing with that foot injury. All of those guys have missed or will miss time with every single one of those things that they're dealing with. So if you're trading with Tampa, I want a player in return. If they want Mark Andrews, I say, sure, you can have him. Give me Yaya Diaby back in return. We're talking edge rushers. Because you know why? This team needs one badly. And I think Yaya Diaby might be that guy that they could use, that they could need. Because he has more sacks than anybody else on this roster. 5 tackles for loss, 17 tackles, 3 stuffs. And I feel like you just need bodies at this point. You need players that you still believe have high ceilings and can give you great production. And I feel like that's Diaby. So you go to Tampa Bay. You say, hey, everybody on your offense is hurt. Baker Mayfield needs a guy he can trust, a guy he's got a connection with. We'll give you one of them in Mark Andrews, but in return, give us an edge rusher. I think I'm going to do the same thing with the Denver Broncos. That is the second trade destination we're talking about. Our last trade destination on today's show. And the reason I'm going to mention this, and I know what you're about to say, Joey, they got Evan Ingram. Well, the Evan Ingram experience for Denver, I don't think it's really lived up to the billing of all they expected it to in the offseason. 17 catches for 137 yards, 8.1 yards a catch, and 1 touchdown. Like, Mark Andrews has better statistics than Evan Ingram, with more, better weapons around him. 2 weeks played with a backup quarterback, and 2 weeks played in the beginning of the season with pretty much zero production. And the thing about Denver is they have the best defense in the league. And if not they have one of the best defenses in the league. They just need a little bit more weapons in Sean Payton's offense for a guy like Bo Nix. Who I'd want in return? Jonathan Cooper. And this might be getting a little bit ahead of myself because I know the folks in Denver absolutely love Jonathan Cooper. But guess what? I do too. And I think he'd be great in this Baltimore Ravens defense and give you a little bit of what you need. Some edge rusher help. 4.5 sacks for him through 6 games this season. He is trending to be a double-digit sack guy. And they've got enough good defensive linemen. They could use him to go away, or at least we could use him on our defensive line, and they wouldn't really even notice that he's gone. They would, but I would hope they don't, so that way they can give him to Baltimore. Who would you rather trade with, Tampa or Denver? You let me know in the comment section down below. I would rather trade player-wise with Denver, but Tampa's in the NFC. It's an interesting question. Let me know your answer. I got an answer if you have the question. What's a great follow on social media? Joey Peterson. Hey, Twitter, Instagram, that's where you find me. And if you follow me there, daily updates on the Ravens. And if you're followed and you're not subscribed here, change that right now. Hit that sub button.